For this practice, we are going to do a yin practice. Yin is slower pace, similar to our relax and unwind, with longer holds for postures and very passive movements with the body. So rather than forcing yourself into anything, just allowing gravity to do the work for you. Option is to have a bolster nearby for that at home. You can also just use a folded up pillow rolled up in a towel to create your own bolster-like shaped pillow. For my practice, I do have bolsters, so I'll just be using one of them. But again, completely optional. In a true yin practice, there are no props. It's just nice if you prefer to have a bit more of a restorative practice to have that nearby, just as an option throughout your practice. We'll begin in a comfortable seated position, and you may find right out of the gate that you'd like to sit up onto your bolster or your folded up pillow or pillows, just to allow the hips to be the same height or a little bit higher than the knees. It can take a little bit of pressure off of the joints and allow you to sit up a little bit taller. So from here, find your comfortable seat, however that may look. Sit up tall, close the eyes. And just settle into stillness in a few moments of a seated meditation. Invite length up your spine, starting with the tailbone, inch by inch, vertebrae by vertebra, up your back and up your neck to the top of your head. That tall spine centering you, lengthening through your body. And the eyes are closed, the face is soft. Shoulders roll back behind you, away from the ears. Inviting length up the neck. And find a sense of openness through the chest, the throat, by drawing the collarbones away from one another. Let the arms rest softly at your sides. The palms can rest either on the legs or on the floor. The bolster beneath you, whatever feels good. Begin to draw awareness to the breath. And as you take a long breath in through the nose, feel the belly expanding out in front of you. With a soft breath out, belly contracts. Big breath in, belly rising in all directions and expanding. And as you exhale, belly softens. Maintaining that same slow rhythm of breath, that awareness of breath. Not just here in the seated pose, but as you move through your practice as well. Draw your awareness now to the pelvis, the hips, the sits bone. Become aware of their points of contact between body and bolster or body and the floor. Use those points as a grounding point for your practice. Each breath out, sinking you deeper and deeper into the earth without losing the length of your spine. Just feeling those points of contact becoming more firm. Maybe the points of contact change in size or number. Feel the earth beneath you supporting you here in this pose. The legs are soft and effortless. The knees and ankles relax. Draw the awareness now to the feet, the toes, the arches and heels. Aware of the foot's relationship to the rest of the body, the floor beneath you, and the space around you. The toes are light and weightless, but still aware of their presence. Aware of your entire body, from the base of your tailbone to the top of the head, the limbs both left and right. Aware of their presence here on your mat and in the space you've chosen for your practice. Start to awaken that body one finger at a time. Just playing imaginary keyboard on the legs, on the floor. Maybe taking little gentle rotations through the wrist in both directions. Slide the legs out one by one in front of you. Especially if the legs have been crossed, it may start to feel a little tight, a little tension. Just give them a wiggle, let that go. It's not uncommon to be uncomfortable in a cross-legged position. Each time holding it a little bit longer, maybe alternating the cross between the legs. And over time, you'll feel you're able to hold that cross-legged position a little bit longer. We're going to slide ourselves off of the bolster or the folded up pillow that you're on. And extend the legs out long in front of you. You can lift your hip bones up, slide the glutes out from beneath them, just to create some length up the legs, up the back. And often in yoga, we talk about pointing the toes towards the ceiling, having a flexed ankle. And for yin practice, we want the opposite. Give the legs a wiggle here, sway them side to side, and then just settle into stillness. Let the toes fall wherever they may. We're releasing the effort from the toes, the feet, the ankles, and all the way up the legs. Take a big breath in and reach up towards the sky. And exhale to fold forward with a round back. Let the palms face up, letting them rest on the legs or on the floor beside you. And really just ragdoll the upper body over the legs here. Chin to chest. Completely effortless throughout your entire body. Option here if you prefer to use your bolster or your homemade bolster. Lie that over your belly. You can also stack two on top of each other. And then just passively fold forward over your prop. Again, being really mindful here in this type of practice that we're not gripping, we're not pulling ourselves down into a pose. Letting go of all of the effort in the legs, the back, the shoulders, the head. And then holding here in this pose. So in a yin practice, we can hold postures for up to 5, even 10 minutes at a time. And this can be one of the most challenging practices for people. We're always in such a state of going, of moving, a fast-paced world, that when we're asked to hold still, it's really difficult. And you'll find the eyes start to wander side to side. You'll be checking in on your screen. The mind will wander to dance, to think of other things to do. So when you feel that happening, when you feel the urge to fidget, to move, draw your awareness to your breath. Notice the inhale and how the body naturally moves and expands. And as you exhale, the body softens and maybe it sinks a little bit deeper into your pose. Our bodies are never truly in stillness. Between the heart beating, the body breathing, there is always that subtle movement. Let that be enough. As you breathe in through the nose, visualize the breath coming in through the tips of your toes, then soles of your feet, around the ankles and up the calf, the knees, the thighs and hips, moving up the spine from the low back, the mid back, the upper, the neck, and all the way out the top of your head. Noticing any tension along the way as you scan your body with breath. And as you exhale, releasing that tension, that effort from the top of your head, then the base of your neck, the upper back, mid back, and lower begin to soften as you release through the hips, the glutes, the thigh, the knees, the shins, the ankles, the feet, and all the way down to the toe. Every breath in, simply acknowledging those areas of tension, those areas of effort, any flexing, any gripping or pulling. Simply acknowledge their presence and encourage softness into that area as you breathe out. Checking in on your body, on your posture, on your breath. Maybe you're able to appreciate that you've sunk a little bit deeper without ever really trying to do so. The less we try in these poses, the further we'll go. You slowly start to turn your fingertips towards the floor. And just as slowly as we enter this pose, we're going to start to walk the fingertips back towards us, rising up slowly inch by inch, resisting all temptation to move quickly, to jolt ourselves up. You can bring the hands behind you. Shine the heart up towards the ceiling, finding a gentle back bend here. You can almost bend the elbows if that helps. Lifting the heart towards the sky, gazes up. And sit back in your neutral. Remove the prop and just give the legs a little rotate, drawing circles through the ankles in both directions. And from here, we're going to bend the right knee, bring the sole of the right foot onto the floor first, and then open the right knee up towards the right side of the room. The sole of the right foot is going to come to the inside of the left leg somewhere. It doesn't have to be close to the pelvis. It can be further down if you prefer. The inseam of the right pant leg is facing towards the sky. Right knee's working its way towards the floor, but it's okay to have a bit of a gap there. If it's too much of a gap or there's pinching or discomfort in a knee, just slide the right foot down your leg until you are able to lower it down. We're never being forceful again in this kind of pose. We want to just be passive. So wherever the leg chooses to be, that's okay. If you're really uncomfortable, you can always place a pillow or something beneath the knee. But you're better off to just slide the leg a little bit further down until there's less of a gap there. My natural inclination, having done yoga for so long, is this flexed ankle, toes pointing towards the ceiling posture. So just give that a wiggle. Let go of that effort, let the toes fall wherever they may, and go passive. We're releasing all of the effort from the muscles of the legs and just letting them simply hang out in this posture. From here, we're going to turn the upper body to face the front leg. Inhale, reach up, lengthening through the spine. And as you exhale, fold forward over the extended leg. Again, palms face up towards the sky, elbows can bend, shoulders are releasing down towards the floor. Hollowing out the chest here as you draw the chin towards it, letting the head fall heavy. So this in itself is a yin posture. There's no need for props, for bolsters, for folded up towels or pillows. You can simply hang out here and allow the weight of your upper body to do the work for you. That is the true yin practice. But if you're new to yin, you find it challenging, prefer a little bit more of a restorative practice, you can once again bring your bolster or homemade bolster into play. Lay that onto the left leg. And you can either rest your head on your hands, release the arms at your side. As long as there's no effort here. You're not forcing your forehead down to the prop. You're not gripping the leg and trying to deepen into your fold. Simply surrender to this pose. Try to offer a few less cues throughout the poses as this practice moves on, to allow you time with your thoughts, noticing them, acknowledging them, rather than trying to force them out of your mind. Simply knowing that it's normal for them to be there. And then redirecting your thoughts to your breath. Giving the mind's eye something else to land on instead. Breathing space here into your low back, into your pelvis. Noticing the body's desire to move, to fidget, to scratch. Every breath in invites a little bit of length. Every breath out encourages softness somewhere. So any of those areas you feel tightness, any areas that you feel your body trying to do something. Any muscles that are engaged. Soften them on the out breath. And slowly, mindfully, start to find your way back up. Move your prop over to the right side. And again, just leaning back a little bit, taking a sway from side to side with the left foot. A counter pose, counter movement that we refer to as a rebound in yin. Just letting go of any tension that may have developed. Sitting back up straight. The right leg stays just as it is. Start to bend the left knee. And slide the left foot over to the left side of the room, lowering the left knee onto the mat. So it's as if you're creating bends in both knees, like the number 7, I guess. The feet are facing to the left and back behind you. like so. It's okay if the left hip is lifting up a little bit, and the left heel can come in towards your left hip, but it's okay if there's space between the two as well. Bring the fingertips out in front of you and start to walk the fingertips to frame the right knee. Turning the heart to frame the right knee as well. The left hip is going to start to lift. That's normal. Maybe this is far enough for you. Maybe you're able to walk the hands a little bit further to the right. Coming into a little bit of a twist here. Again, left hip is lifting up. An option to stay lifted. Maybe this is plenty for you. Maybe you start to lower the arms down onto the ground or onto your prop. Option as well to lower all the way down, having your belly and chest land on your prop and turning your gaze in whichever direction feels best in your neck. And so you decide how low down you'd like to go. Decide if you'd like to lie onto a folded pillow or blanket or bolster. Maybe you stay lifted and simply rest your head in your hands. Wherever it is that you choose to land, see if you can settle into stillness. Find your breath and perhaps add a count. Counting in 4, 3, 2, 1. Counting out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Choosing the rhythm of count that works best in your body. It can sometimes feel nice to lengthen the exhale just 1 second longer than the inhale. Again, these are just simple techniques to redirect the mind's eye so that rather than struggling in that stillness and thinking of whatever it is that may be drawing your mind off of your mat, gives you something else to contemplate, draws your awareness more internally to the breath. How many times have you looked at the screen to see if I'm still here? Busted. The human body, the human mind is so funny at doing things like that. Such creatures of habit. When we do so many things in our day lives at such a fast pace, Of course, it's challenging to slow down, to hold the stillness. But those things that are most challenging to us are often those which we need the most. Slowly begin to turn your gaze back through neutral. Come up onto the hands, start to rise up slowly. Begin to walk the hands back through center. Come up onto the soles of the feet, knees are bent. Just sway the feet from side to side, the knees. Windshield wiper from side to side. Let that go. Extend the legs out long in front of you. Just notice any sensations you might be feeling in the legs. And then let that go. We're going to move through the opposite side. So we'll start first by bending through the left knee, sole of the left foot onto the floor. Open the left knee up to the left side of the room, bringing the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right leg somewhere. Give your right foot a wiggle, releasing through the ankles, and let the toes fall wherever they choose. Sit up tall to begin. Reach up with an inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, turn to face the right leg, fold forward, rounding through the back and passively land wherever the upper body chooses. So again, always the option to stay just like this. Letting the absolute weight of the upper body take control over this pose. Gravity does the work for you as you release the arms and the legs. And let the head grow heavy. If you'd prefer a little more restorative, a little more support, you can bring your bolster or folded pillow onto the right leg. And rest your head onto the bolster or onto stacked hands. Wherever the arms have landed, they're soft. They're not working. The muscles are relaxed. Using these moments of stillness, of silence, to really get in touch with your thoughts. Becoming aware of any common themes or trends from thought to thought. Any particular image or circumstance that seems to pop up more than others. Again, without attachment, without judgment, just aware of those similarities. And then redirecting the thoughts to your breath. Just a few more moments here on this side. Taking one more big breath in. Slow breath out as you release your hands towards the floor. Start to walk yourself up inch by inch, head rising left. Slide your prop over to the left side. You can lean back, open your heart towards the sky, gaze up. Maybe a gentle sway from side to side with the right toes, drawing circles to the ankle in both directions. Rising back up to neutral, left leg stays just as it is. Start to bend through the right knee, sole of the right foot to the floor. Right foot then slides over to the right. Inner arch of the right foot comes onto the floor as you slide the heel back towards the right hip. Creating those number 7s with your legs. Soles of the feet are facing to the right and back behind you. Creating kind of zigzag shape with your legs. Like so. And start by bringing the hands out in front of you. Walk the hands to frame the left leg. And for some, this may be far enough. Maybe start to lower down here, or maybe you stay lifted. Otherwise, you can keep walking the hands further back behind you until you find that point of resistance, never being forceful. The right hip is going to lift up and drive itself forward slightly. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you lower forearms onto a pillow or a folded blanket. Maybe you choose to lower yourself all the way down, resting your belly and chest on your support. choosing whatever gaze feels best in your neck. So over to the left or to the right, maybe it's neutral. Once again, finding your way into that stillness and just letting go. Are you gripping through the fingers, through the teeth, clenching your jaw? Where is your body holding the effort here? Let that go. Once our body feels supported, the muscles trust us and they're more apt to lengthen and loosen. And it's through these longer holds in a yin practice that we start to go a little bit deeper into the fascia, into the connective tissues and joints. There are so many benefits to these longer holds. You may also find that through time, through practice, you start to gain patience, a sense of calm in your day-to-day life as well. Notice where in your body the breath is being directed. When you breathe in, where does the body move? When you breathe out, where does it soften, contract, grow heavy? Just a few more breaths on this side. Can you find even a little more softness in the upper body? Is there anywhere else left that you can relax? One more big breath in. A slow breath out as you start to turn your gaze neutral. Walk the hands in towards you as you rise up slowly. Turn to face the legs. Come up onto the soles of the feet and gently rock the knees from side to side. Windshield wipering the legs. Letting go of any tension that may have developed through the hips, the thighs. Extending the legs long. Tension from the knees, drawing circles with the ankles in both directions. And then we're going to come to land on our backs. Knees are bent. And keep your bolster nearby. With the knees bent, heels close to the pelvis. Press down through the feet, lift the pelvis up, and allow it to land on your bolster. Coming into a supported bridge pose. Just checking in on your body here. If you'd like, you can walk the feet a little bit further, a little bit closer to the bolster, creating a little bit of distance between them and allowing the knees to touch if that feels better. Releasing the arms at your side, shoulder blades tucked beneath you. With a long neck, find some stillness here. You can always play with the height of your bolster. If it's a folded up pillow, you can always lower it down halfway. You can add extra cushion if you prefer. We want the body to feel supported here, to be able to release through the belly, through the front of your pelvis. Finding some softness. You're holding effort in the legs here. Can you soften through the thighs? Let the bolster do the work for you. Turn to that deep belly breath. Each breath in expands the belly in all directions. Letting it rise up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, it softens and contracts. Big breath in, belly rise. A slow breath out as the belly falls. Continuing with your own rhythm, your own breath. You can turn the palms towards the floor. Press down through the feet, lift the hips up, and slide your prop away from you. Lowering the pelvis back onto the mat. Just taking a gentle sway from side to side with the knees. Extend the legs long to the bottom of your mat. Reach the arms up overhead, still resting on the floor. Walk the feet to the bottom right corner of your mat. The hips stay centered. Start to walk the upper body to the top right corner of your mat. Creating a banana shape with your body, so the feet and the arms are to the right. The waist, the hips are slightly to the left or centered. Creating a long line up the entire left side body here. Fully supported on the mat beneath you. If it's a little too much, you can always release the right arm at your side. For a little bit more, you can cross the left ankle over the right. But just be passive here, so we're not worrying about adding traction to the left leg. Just close your eyes. Soften into this pose. Creating space up the left side body with every breath. And if ever you feel that point of sensation, that edge of your pose start to drift off and fade, you can walk the feet a little bit further to the right, the upper body as well, and settle into your new stillness at your new edge. The goal is to find stillness, but it is not to be in discomfort. So if you feel pain in a pose, it's okay to move. Or if you stop feeling a stretch or a sensation in that pose, it's okay to go a little bit deeper. Don't just move for the sake of moving, for the sake of the fidget, for the sake of having something to do. Give your body the opportunity to see what happens in stillness, to see just how truly deep you can go into the pose when you aren't trying to. Breathing space between the left ribs and the left hip. Feeling that left waist area expand in all directions. And soften. If the legs are crossed, you can uncross the ankles and pause for a breath or two here. Slowly find your way through center. Again, just pausing here for a moment. Notice any changes from one side to the other. Then we'll work our way into the opposite side. So feet to the bottom of the mat, arms up overhead, resting on the floor. And start to walk the legs to the bottom left corner of the mat. The hips stay centered or slightly to the right. And then inch by inch, walk the upper body over to the left as well. The feet are to the left, the arms and head are towards the left. The hips are to the right and rooted down into the mat. creating space up your entire right side body. Maybe you stay here, or option to cross the right ankle over the left if that feels good. Just knowing that you'll be here for a while, giving yourself permission to come out at any time that it becomes too much, easing off. Otherwise, settle into the stillness. Close the eyes. Focus on your breath. Rather than the belly just expanding towards the sky, think about expanding it out to the right side of your body. So it not only rises up, but it rises up and over to the right, pressing itself between the ribs and the hip, pelvis, expanding out of the right side waist, even down towards the mat beneath you on the right. Each breath out softens, contracts. Just a few more breaths here. Noticing if the sensation in the right side body has started to ease off. Inch a little bit deeper for just those last few breaths. Finding that point of sensation, the edge, pausing there. Taking one final big breath into the right waist. As you exhale, uncrossing the ankle, pausing there for just a moment or two. Easing out as slowly as we entered in, so taking those moments to pause for continuing to slide the upper body and the legs back through center. And taking one full body stretch here in the center, lengthening from fingertips to toes. As you exhale, soften, let that go. Bring the arms to your sides and send the feet out wide to the bottom corners of your mat. Releasing your body into its final resting pose, Shavasana. Closing the eyes, Just scanning your body from the tip of your toes to the top of your head and all of the tissues between. Noticing how it feels. How it moves differently with breath now than from when you first landed on your mat. Notice any last remaining areas of tension, of effort, and once again, as in all of the yin poses, letting it go. Find absolute stillness and absolute softness in this pose. You choose the length of Shavasana. Maybe you hold for 3 minutes, for 5, for 10. Aware of the mind's desire to wander, the body's need to fidget. When you feel those moments happening, redirecting the thoughts to breath, offering yourself just a few more moments of stillness. The more often you practice that stillness, that sense of ease and calm, you may become aware of it creeping into your day-to-day life as well. And such gratitude as always for you joining me in practice. Namaste.